And it's live. Right, okay. So just get rid of all my windows so I can actually see what's going on. So we're back in the Sprint Hangout again. I don't actually know how it's 2 Tuesdays ago since last one. How has that been 2 Tuesdays? I'm sure it's been one Tuesday. I'm so confused, and Kevin looks like he agrees with me.
Yep. No idea how the last 2 weeks have gone so quickly.
No, and I've been I've been totally panicking looking at the fact that we still have 2 sprint epics open, and in which both of them I have things that I was supposed to have done, which I have not done. Oh gosh. So last ditch effort to try and get some stuff done today that actually counts towards a sprint. The long story being, I think both of us have been working on internal stuff a little bit more than we thought we were gonna, and things keep happening that need fixing, and or we come up with some new hair braid plan to translate Ghost.org or something, and then things happened. And that just sort of detracts us from the sprint, from stuff that counts towards the sprint, and then we come back and look at the sprint epic things and be like, oh my god, I was supposed to be doing 100 other things. So I think we're probably both going to be like, yeah, I haven't really done any of that stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll go first and be really depressing. So basically, there's actually 2 sprint hangouts, sprint epics open, and from the first one, I'm supposed to have been working on doing a new data migration of the database and moving that towards being able to do a couple of new things. One of them being having a new field in the database for Kevin's new editor, and another one being hashtags. Now I've got most of the pieces in place to be able to sort that out now, most of the big pieces. I did a pull request today which adds deletion because we couldn't delete a field. We need to delete the old hidden one and add the new hashtag one to tags. So I can do that now, and I've got the actual migration stuff ready. So I think most of that's done. There's just like a lot of testing and sort of around that work to do to finish that up. So hopefully I will get that put together, and what I will do is I'm going to close the other 2 sprint epics, and I'm going to make a new one that's shiny and happy and makes us feel less bad about ourselves, and put that in there to finish up and to get hashtags done. Really want to get that into labs very, very soon. So that's from the super old one. So that's progress being made, but I can't actually check the checkbox on it, which is quite frustrating. And then from the last week's hangout, no, it wasn't last week's hangout, from 2 weeks ago. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. It wasn't. It can't have been. I put on there that I would throw up a pull request with my dynamic channel routing, which has been sat on my computer for ages. So I finally just did that like 10 minutes ago, just so that I could tick something off in a sprint epic somewhere. And that just kind of needs some more tests, but it works for all intents and purposes. And basically, with a couple more tweaks, so that there's a way to create the thing that we call a context, which is like this is an author page or this is a tag page. With a little bit more work on that, it should be very easy to start adding new channels just by editing that one file. And actually this week I had somebody in the help channel who wanted to filter a tag out of their main feed of posts. They wanted one tag not to show, and I showed him how to hack the channel config file so that you could do that. And it's kind of nice just to see people playing with that sort of hack where you can hack one line in one file and make such a big change. And that the idea that all of these things will become configurable in some way in the near future. So that stuff is all progressing nicely, and also I merged JT's pull request, which refactored all the meta stuff, which means that once I do the last final piece, which sorts out the context, we should be able to link it all together, so that if you create a new channel, so say for example you want the root/featured to show all of your featured posts, a simple use case like that. That would then get metadata and all of the stuff that you would expect, an RSS feed, all of that sort of magic, just by adding a couple of lines in a config file somewhere, and that will eventually become a setting somehow. So we're progressing with that quite nicely. Adapter write-up I started on, but it's not tickable. I can't show it yet. It's not close enough to being done. But I've got the first bits of that in, and I actually stalled on writing any more post-scheduling issues because the first one that I put up was the cron adapter, and JT did some experimentation and found some of the stuff that I'd written about weren't quite going to work the way we expected. So I think we need to have like a working pull request for that before I can write the second issues on what the APIs are actually going to look like and stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to end up with two people going in different directions and not working. So I've deliberately not done that bit. So yeah, progress, but not gotten as far as I'd like. So for the next 2 weeks, my focus is going to be on pretty much the same things. Really want to get the data stuff finished up, wrapped up, shipped with hashtags. That's my primary thing. I want to get that done. And then as much progress with channels as I can possibly make, with probably not too much commitment because I'm actually going on holiday in a week. Ha! So yeah, that's me. Kevin, do you want to do some talking?
Okay. Yeah, as far as the sprint issues go, the only one I've been able to make any progress on is the code mirror card, which is currently start working on how to get a good way of kind of pulling the dependency tree of external dependencies asynchronously, because so that we can offer multiple language selection and things like that in the code editor. I might end up hunting on that a bit and just getting it in there so I can focus on some other issues in the next couple of sprints. The other things I've been working on, we now have Travis testing in Firefox and Chrome rather than Phantom.js. And
that scared the shit out of me today. My computer suddenly started doing things. Windows were flying everywhere and things were scrolling through them. And I was like, my God, what's happening? I was like, oh, I'm running the tests.
Yeah, and there's also been quite a bit of work on the navigation area of the admin, because although the nav item bit looks fairly simple, it's hiding a lot of hidden complexity, and there's been a lot of kind of edge cases and weird bugs and things, which hopefully should be almost sorted out now. Yeah, for the next sprint, I think I'm going to try and get rid of distractions as much as possible and just focus purely on the editor, which I don't think there's any other big things in the way of that at the moment.
Cool. Okay. I think that sounds like the same plan. Just get some focus on the editor and try and get a. It would be nice to get just a labs version there so that we can let people start playing with it, I think. Yeah. So, anybody else want to talk about what they've been up to or anything they want to get done? AC's got his hand up. Was it AC? Austin. Go for it.
So I was working on the feature service, still running into error, like trying to make errors more clear with that, and so that's my primary focus. I'm going to get that done hopefully today or tomorrow, so we can get that in, because that's kind of blocking, because everything else that requires a labs flag will use that. So want to get that in before we hopefully get any more labs features in. Then after that, I was going to work on the tour some. I'm still trying to think through where exactly to put all the data for the tour, little pop-ups, because it doesn't make sense to store it server-side, and finding the right place to put it client-side. You could put it anywhere. But once I figure that out, it shouldn't be too much longer to have at least a basic demo up of the tour. So those are going to be my two main focuses, and I also did play around with switching our homegrown inline validations to a new Ember library with a little bit. I did a little bit of work on that last night, and so I may continue my work on that and see where I go.
Cool. Would you be able to push that at some point? It would be interesting to see how you look at it, how it's working, what's involved where.
Once I have something that actually doesn't break things, then I'll I'll push that.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. Anybody else want to do some talking? I can't hear JT. He's unmuted himself, but I can't hear him. Uh-oh.
Are you using Chrome? Chrome and Hangouts doesn't work on my computer, which is really odd. I have to use Firefox every time.
Isn't it great when technologies are compatible with each other?
Especially from the same company.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah!
There we go.
All right. Yeah, I just had to switch the mic, I guess. So I've been working on the scheduler for a little bit, and we ran into some things that weren't working correctly, like Henan mentioned. With Node-Cron, Node-Cron's actually a singleton, so they had like a Node-Cron manager. I played around with it. It's pretty complex. I think I have a better solution. I'm going to go ahead and like wrap up. I have like the adapter kind of working as well, so I kind of want to like share it with everyone and see what you guys think. I went ahead and named everything like the spec calls it, so there's no confusion there. And then I've also been working on the Bluebird changeover for the new version of Bluebird with the whole reflect instead of they used to have like a method called settle, I think it was what it was called before. But then I was looking through some of the other stuff we were doing, and we're calling catch, but all we're doing is throwing a rejected promise in the catch. So I'm a little confused on why we're doing that. So I removed some of that, trying to get some tests around it all so that we're testing it each time we run tests. A bunch of the upgrade logic wasn't being tested, so hopefully I can get that in there and we can get that pulled in. So that's what I'll be working on next couple weeks.
Awesome. Anybody else? We've got a David, we've got a Sebastian, and we've got a Matt. Anyone want to say anything? No, just want to sit silently and pretend you're not really here.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. No, seriously. I'm just listening in. I have not done much work on Ghost itself. I tried to merge a few pull requests. There's a lot going on, and I'm mainly working on internal projects for Ghost Pro.
Yay!
But there are also exciting things to come, so stay tuned.
Yes. So, one thing that is, I did mean to say this at the beginning actually, the reason I keep forgetting to do the pulse graph when I do this meeting, but it's really nice to have like a weekly record of what the pulse graph looks like and then kind of go back through them if you're a little bit weird about data like I am. But actually, like the last week, 25 pull requests have been merged. When you like set yourself goals and then don't reach them, you can feel like you're really not making progress, but actually we're making tons of progress. There's so much stuff going on in Ghost at the moment. We've had like a good flurry of more contributions and also done a lot of stuff on dependency updates. I'm trying to get these automated by Greenkeeper so they don't take time anymore, but there's a couple of bugs with Greenkeeper that need fixing first. But yeah, there's been absolutely tons of stuff going on. And the last release was how many days ago? 6 days ago, and there have already been 75 commits to master since that release. So in 6 days, we've made 75 changes. Most of those are dependency changes, to be fair, but still, there's a lot going on and a lot of progress towards these big things like channels and a new editor and hashtags. They're all massive features, and they're all taking time. So I think that's about it. I've got a sprint epic that I'm just writing up on the side, which I'll publish once the meeting's over and put into, or once we finish the Hangout, and I'll put it in Slack. And if people want to talk about stuff, obviously we can carry on in Slack. Anyone got anything else they want to talk about? No? Any problems, concerns? Nothing?
Still on the hunt for my one issue of 07.
We'll have to find you one. There's always one. It's good. Cool. Okay. Then let's wrap it up this week, and I will see you all in a week's time in the box. One thing to flag up is I am not going to be around for the next Brigand Hangout meeting, so I'm going to need a volunteer to run it for me. Don't all shout at once. And people start leaving.
I can if you give me stuff to talk about, but I mean, I can moderate,
Yeah, that's all it needs.
but
Moderate.
I don't really have anything to. I probably won't have anything to contribute as far as code wise.
I would too, but I'm not sure. Like, me coming to the Hangouts is always somewhat tentative, depending on if my class gets out early or not. But
Fair enough. I'm sure we'll figure it out. The main thing is just keeping progress on what we're doing at the moment, which is these big features like post scheduling, hashtags, channels, editor are all just trying to set some sort of goals as to what we're going to do in the next 2 weeks in order to get closer towards them. Right, I shall stop this now. Thank you all for coming. Bye.
Good job, guys.
Yes.